Hello everyone, I'm Jonas.
And I'm Lewis.
And welcome to JL Pokémon.
And welcome back to another episode of Cards of the Week. In this series, we look through the history and the different things that cards have done through the ages of the Pokemon trading card game. This week, I'll be reviewing the one and only Urshifu, and I have Single Strike and Rapid Strike. We're gonna talk about the whole Pokemon. So we're not just individual cards, just the whole Pokemon through the ages. And Jonas has...
I have actually a card called Tapu Fini. It's really good.
Very awesome.
Sort of.
Alright, so let's get right into this. Let's start with me. Alright guys, time to talk about Urshifu. Urshifu is quite a new Pokemon, but has made a huge impact on the Pokemon trading card game with its Single Strike and Rapid Strike forms. Although Urshifu has only been released in Japan, its tournament status has been going up ever since its release. Let's start talking about the Vs alone, and then we'll get straight into the VMAXs. The Vs are they're alright. They're not as good as the VMAXs, but they're the things that you need to put down to evolve. And Single Strike Urshifu has Strafe for 1 fighting energy and 100 Furious Blows for 150 damage. Now, Strafe allows you to switch this Pokemon from the active if you do this attack, and 100 Furious Blows just does 150 damage straight up. And then with Single Strike Urshifu V, and by the way, they both have the same HP, Single Strike Urshifu V has Laser Focus, which allows you to search your deck for 2 fighting energy and attach it right to you. So if you're going second, you basically have almost a fully powered up Urshifu by turn 2, which is super awesome if your opponent obviously doesn't play Crushing Hammers. And for its second attack, 3 energy once again, 180 damage, but you can't use the attack next turn. So these obviously are the things you need to evolve into your VMAXs, but they're not very good alone. So that's why you run the very awesome VMAXs along with it. Let's start talking about Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, which is, I think, possibly the better version. I don't know. They're both really good right now, and I'm just debating on which one's better. So the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX has Gale Thrust for 1 energy, which does 30 damage, plus 120 more if this Pokemon was brought into the active this turn. And that's just super awesome. You can get 150 damage, most likely maybe by turn 2, because it only takes 1 energy. And that's just a super good way for you to get one-hit knockouts on Dedenne, Crobat. Urshifu VMAX's first attack is Gale Thrust for 30 damage for 1 fighting energy, and if it was brought up into the active this turn, it does 120 more, which brings you to 150 damage. That attack is very similar to the one and only
Buzzwole?
No, to Golisopod GX.
Oh, okay.
Golisopod GX was a very good Pokemon back in those days. It's not as good, obviously, as it was back then, but it was still amazing back then. So, and
by the way, which Urshifu VMAX has that attack?
Rapid.
Okay.
So, on to Urshifu VMAX Rapid Strike's second attack. That name is a mouthful. It does, for 3 energy, a fighting, and a colorless, it does no damage, but does 120 damage to any of your opponent's Pokemon, which is super useful for stuff like spreading damage around the board and stuff along those lines. So if you had, say, a Galarian Zigzagoon in this example, you could play down a Galarian Zigzagoon and then do 10 damage to something like a Dedenne, and then have a telescopic sight attached to Urshifu VMAX, and then you would get 150 plus 10, which would make it 160, which would make you knock out a Dedenne on the bench, which is just amazing in my opinion. You can just snipe those cards out of your opponent's bench and just take an easy 2 prize cards. Although you do need to discard all your energy off of Urshifu VMAX. Now, speaking of HP, both Urshifu VMAX, Rapid Strike, and Single Strike have the same HP, so you don't need to worry about that. 330.
And the Vs have 220, just in case you were wondering.
I already said that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Its weakness for both of them is Psychic. So that's why you'd run something like Jirachi GX in it to get rid of psychic weakness, which is just, just to stop Mewtwo and Mew GX from knocking you out, which is a pain in the butt if you're against that. Yep. And Rapid Strike has 2 colorless retreat cost. Now, moving on to the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. In my opinion, this Rapid Strike, now that I think of it, is definitely the better option for just trying to get attacks off as quick as possible. But if you're trying to do big damage, one-hit KOs, this is your Pokemon to do it. Because its first attack is nowhere near as good as Gale Thrust on the Rapid Strike. It does, for 3 colorless, it does 100.
Oh, that's sad.
That's it. But since you're running things like Houndoom and Single Strike Energy, you can bump that up to possibly 160 damage, which is a lot better, which is giving you knockouts. I mean, it does knockouts on Dedennis anyways, but it gives you that 160, and 160 just gets a nice number. With weakness, it's knocking out stuff like Toxtricity VMAX, which isn't really popular right now, but it gets you that one-hit knockouts on stuff like Pikarom and different stuff like Raichu, all that stuff like that. Now, here's the big attack on Urshifu VMAX Single Strike. G Max 1 Blow does 270 damage. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. This attack isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So this thing can go through Full Metal Wall on Lucario Manlittle. It can go through the ability on Zamazenta. It can go through almost everything. This thing is constantly doing 270 damage. And since you run Single Strike Energy along with this, you can bump that up to things like 290, then 310, and then you're getting that damage up into the 300s, which is giving you knockouts on almost every Pokemon in the game. So that is just amazing for you to just get those one-hit knockouts, getting those easy prize cards, easy KOs, and that just makes it so that Single Strike Urshifu VMAX is better if you just want those straight KOs. But for Rapid Strike, that's if you want the bench KOs, or just like easy ways to get 2 or 1 prizes.
I just realized that if you pair Urshifu VMAX Rapid Strike with spread decks like Orbeetle VMAX and stuff, it will pair really well because that's a lot of damage. Also, one-shotting my Tapu Fini, sadly.
Also, the retreat cost on Single Strike Urshifu VMAX is 3 colorless, same weakness, no resistance, and that's pretty much all I really have to talk about. I mean, I could talk about things that can go well with these cards. With Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, you could probably run Octillery. Octillery is just super useful for getting Single Strike Pokemon or anything out of the deck that is Rapid Strike, out of the deck, which is good for setting up and stuff. And then Single Strike has Houndoom, which can get you those energy out of the deck if you run it with, I forget what it's called. I just call it Pot Jar. Vitality Jar. That's what it is, Vitality Jar, to get those energy out of your discard back into your deck to revive them, to reuse them with Houndoom. So that is just super useful. And that's really all I have to talk about with these cards. Very awesome, very versatile, just super useful depending on what kind of deck you want to run. It's super awesome and gets you that option to pick between these 2 amazing cards. Let's get into Jonas's Pokemon.
Alright guys, today I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tapu Fini. And I'm going to be talking about this one especially because of its Dream Away attack. Dream Away says, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent shuffles their active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into their deck. Now that takes up 1 fairy and 1 colorless energy to do. Now paired along with stuff like Victini and Will and like all that, a bunch of other stuff too, that can be really good because you can just keep rolling and rolling. And Will, you can call the coin flip and like automatically do that. And Victini just rolls again. Let you roll again.
Victini with the Victory Star ability says that once during your turn, after you flip any coins for an attack, you may ignore all effects of those coin flips and begin flipping those coins again. And so that is just super useful. So if you don't have the will that you need, you can just use Victini's ability just to get that extra, possibly get the heads to shuffle your opponent's active Pokemon into their deck, which is super, super useful.
And then with the good thing about it is with 2 energies, you can easily just attach an energy and then use Elixir because this deck is actually expanded.
Max
Elixir
from the Breakpoint set.
Very big. We also have me and Lewis made this deck list. We added Wander's Labyrinth and Absol from what's that?
Team Up and Team Up.
Team Up and Team Up. We also have Lele and Tina Chomp.
Lele is super useful for getting wills out of the deck. And then we also run Rainbow and Aurora energy in this deck to try to get that GG and GX attack off, which discards your opponent's active Pokemon instead of shuffling it into their deck, which is super duper awesome.
Now we also have like quick balls and stuff, crushings in the deck to make it really annoying. We have Guzma, Juniper, and Floatstone, so we can easily get our the Tina Chomp out of the active if we need to. And if say Lewis bosses up my Lele and the next turn I attach to Fini, but I had a Floatstone in my hand, I can easily attach Floatstone and you have free retreat. We also have stuff like Seeker, so we can get the wills. So that's technically Seeker. 8 wills in our deck. We also have Rainbows, Auroras, like Lewis said. And yeah, we also have Juniper, Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, what else? N, because we want to shuffle our opponent's hand to their deck just in case they have a good hand.
Since we are taking no prizes, N is basically a Cynthia the entire game, but it makes it so that you can disrupt your opponent at the same time.
If you guys are wondering how this happens, if you don't really play if you don't really battle, is that when your opponent has no Pokemon in the active spot, no Pokemon on the bench, their opponent loses. Or I don't know if that word is right, but okay.
No, if you're playing this deck and and your opponent has no Pokemon left in play, you just automatically win the game.
Yeah.
So basically, the whole point of this deck is to try to get basically a turn 1 win, or a turn 2 win in this case, since you can't play supporters your first turn and you can't attach 2 energy. But
well, you can.
Well, yeah.
You
technically you can. If you can win turn 1 if you're going second. So if they have only one single active, then you just bring up your Fini and just dream away, and then that's it. You basically win if you have will, and probably you might win. You have a pretty high chance if you win with Victini in the bench as well.
Well, what we can also do is say if Tapu Fini has, Lewis was thinking of this, adding Big Charm to get that 150 HP on the Lele. Fini. And another thing with Lele is that with his Urshifu deck and combined with, I think, Wander's Labyrinth, they had to do 1 more energy to attack. So that takes 5 energies. And then if we're crushing them, they need to attach even more energies. So yeah, that just gives us time to set up and stuff and do a buttload of stuff.
Actually, we played in a Full Grip Games online tournament. We lost miserably, but that's a lot of people thought our deck was very interesting and a cool idea. So I like this deck as well. I mean, I helped make it. Yeah. So it's an interesting idea, but it doesn't really give you that much wins.
Yeah. It is very annoying though.
It is annoying, yeah. And basically, it just forces your opponent to waste all of their trainers.
Now, Tapu Fini actually came out in Burning Shadows, but this one came out in Lost Thunder. So a pretty big gap between them.
Yeah, and actually, the first Fini to ever come out, Tapu Fini GX, was super awesome in Greninja break decks, which it was just a tech Pokemon that you could just put in to just do some extra things. I don't know exactly what Tapu Fini GX does, but I know it is used pretty widespread in those Greninja break decks a while back. So that was super awesome. So that is basically all we have to talk about these Pokemon. They're super awesome, super just, they're just all
annoying.
Fini's annoying, but
very.
Urshifu just does damage. That's basically its main purpose. So how about we get straight into the outro of this video. See you guys in a second. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We 100% enjoyed making it, so we hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. And
to get notified when new videos come out.
That's right. And also make sure to stay tuned for this Sunday's video. We're opening something pretty awesome, so make sure you check that out. Also, make sure to follow our Twitter at
JL_PKM.
That is right. So make sure to drop a follow down there where we post regular updates about the channel and about stuff we're doing. Alright, we will catch you guys in the next video. See you later.
See ya.